Okay, I'm doing one more video. Very cool. Both times I started these videos, I have some mirroring numbers. That's rad. So, I just shared a little bit about my own personal relationship and in regards to some of the energies on the planet. So, I want to step into something else. What this has all taught me is this part, to get back to really to who I've been, who I am, and really why I'm here. Okay, so one of the other messages, one of the very important things that I believe that I came back for is to share about the feminine divine and the truth about the prophetesses and the truth about the power of women. So where intuition goes, many years ago when I was in junior college, what's up, Washington? Okay, all the things in the world, hunger, racism, I mean, really, do I have to? The environment, trash, the earth. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many things that are upsetting and heart-wrenching on this planet. And yes, I was already spiritual. And at that time, I had a predominantly patriarchal God and would pray about these things. And just kind of heard the message again that God is love, period. And that I obviously cannot save the entire world. I can't feed the whole planet. I can't house everybody. I can't help people understand why even the horrors of such things like pedophilia and misogyny exist. What can I do? And so I started thinking about all the problems in the world. And the one that moved me the most was racism. Because it's general hatred towards people for just the stupidest reasons. Just ridiculous. And the amount that speak about narcissism, like creating total lies about a race to employ your own, like, goodness sakeys, right? Okay, but it all came from somewhere. And so my main focus became women, because I realized out of all the people in the world, the most oppressed people are women and children, predominantly women and then their children, right? And I thought, and predominantly women of color. Out of all the women, all women are oppressed. Let's just get that out there, because I actually think that this can bring some major healing to the world if women understood that no matter what your skin looks like, there is another woman out there who has been either sexually assaulted or subjugated by a man or put in some kind of control perspective by a man. And if they haven't, then they actually have the spirit of the world to help those women, right? Anyhow, why would that be? Why would it be that out of all the people in the entire world, why are women the most oppressed? And not only are they the most oppressed, but in every religious scripture, minus Indian scripture, because their deities, they do not exclude male and female deities, even though the culture is very patriarchal, okay? Their deities aren't, but their culture is. Anyhow, where that hasn't happened, where somewhere in the Bible, women are literally nothing. You have to marry a rapist? What the? And all of those women that believe that crap? Oh, it's just heartbreaking. So, that was my choice. Women. I'm going to focus on women. And I'm going to be there for women as much as I can, in the best way I can. And logically. And take responsibility for my youthful fuck shit, or my bullshit. And always send that light to them, as well as work towards being there and doing really difficult things, like choosing between a friend who is a business partner and choosing between a friend who has a daughter who moved miles away to start a new life and may seem outwardly unstable. We're supposed to walk away from those women and their children as women? So, I say all this because within the last few years, last 10 years, with that focus on women, GodiS, ancestors who have come through either me or other intuit people or mediums saying it's time to see God as GodiS, as a female aspect, specifically for the females, because men aren't going to do it for us. They're not. And they all have this idea of what a perfect woman is supposed to be, which I don't even know where they get that from. Okay. So, in all this research of the GodiS, realizing that the words such as messenger or prophet came from prophetess, came from actual names of women, that the first deity, the first archaeological artifact of the world that they show us, because there are so many things they don't show us that are very, very far older than they've told us we are female. There was a female religion. The serpent, that's why I've named it this, the serpent, there's a serpent religion that is based on worshiping the goddess. And so when we look at misogyny and we look at today's world, I want to bring up some certain aspects. Like, let's look at Lorena Bobbitt, okay, and that story. And to this day, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, right." For several reasons, some women are like, "Yes, good job, sister," and others are like horrified, and in general, men in general, horrified. And I think that that's why it was made such a big deal, because look what happens to women, and no men are ever. I mean, kidding me? A lot of people don't know this. One of the first Grand Klansmen, one of the reasons why they shut down the Klan for many years and then moved over here to this side of the country, is that one of the Grand Wizard Klansmen, he liked this woman. She was of somewhat kind of like a royal background. Asked her out on a date. She didn't really want to go, but she went. He made advances at her. She refused him, and he ended up kidnapping her and biting her to death. Biting her to death. So they were all like, whoa. She was a predominant white woman, right? So what kind of sense does that make? And so they disbanded for something like 70 years, or I don't know. So we have these groups of people who have decided about women. And this is because of millennia since Christianity began, since patriarchy began. There's a reason why in even the scriptures it's called the patriarch. There are stories that don't even, for example, demons and jinn in both religions from the beginning were not bad. They were considered these beings that were with you to help you through life. The original words for both of them. In both religions. And in both religions, their mother, the beginning of the religion is a woman. In the Muslim religion, Muhammad's wife, who was much older than him, is who taught him about Islam. And he speaks that. But to this day, the men will not share that with us. And in Judaism, it is matriarchal. And their lessons come from, they know where it comes from. So all of this has been hidden from us. And one of the things that's come through me recently is the story of Anput and Wapanet and Inanna Lilith, Enlil, Marduk, Murder, Marduk, Murder. Get it? There's so much that has been hidden from us, replayed by the masculine writers, including Homer, who stole all that from a Sibyl. Everything comes from the female. And there are hints in all the scriptures, because one of the main things the scripture says is that everything that is in his name and created from love will have his name. Well, most of the names are female names. Every word, every alphabet, every astrologer. Okay, so I'm writing a book. The channels of the Great Mother about Amput and Lilith, or Enlil. You spell Enlil backwards. Okay. So many hints. And part of what's happened is there are Sibyls that have returned to the planet to help decode a lot of this. You are them. I'm one of them. Sibyls, prophetesses, seers, natural witch. Okay. And these were called serpents. And there was a genocide against us. And the genocide is still happening. Only now it's in the form of let's make them crazy. Let's make them look like they don't know what they're talking about. Or they themselves become so freaked out by what's around them that they don't want to stop. They don't want to talk. They don't want to speak about it. They don't want to share what they have shared.